How's it? Welcome back to the channel. So having just got back from our vacation trip up to Cali to see family and do a whole bunch of snowboarding, I had a few things pop up that I thought I would share really fast. So the first one being is like when I'm at home, right, I have my sleeping set up perfectly. I mean, super perfect. I got all my pillows just how I like them. I like a ton of pillows, like, 6 to 8 just for myself, essentially. I got my blankets that I like. I got my fan set up blowing exactly where I want them, which is amazing when I'm sleeping at home because, man, I love it. It's perfect when I'm at home. But it also has a pretty big drawback that when you go on these trips and you don't have your sleeping set up exactly how you like it, it makes sleeping probably a lot crappier than it necessarily needs to be. Now, I did bring my blanket with me, which was super clutch. But then I also realized that I really missed my pillows, man. Like, I like generally like these flat, soft pillows. And most places you go, they tend to have these really fluffy, fat, soft ones, right? And they did have a couple flat ones, but they were like flat and really firm, which is not what I like. So it's even to the point to where like, I'm thinking, first of all, they never have enough pillows for me because I like so many. But because I like my specific pillows, I'm thinking like, man, maybe next time we go on a trip, I should bring an entire luggage just full of my pillows, which I'm sure my wife would never let that shit fly, but that would be perfect in a perfect scenario. And then also leading up to the trip, I was having like for weeks, a lot of these dreams that were filled with like really, like stress, anxiety induced driving where I wasn't crashing the dreams, but it was just like driving and feeling like I was going to crash and I was really uncomfortable. And I noticed I had that exact feeling in particular the first night that we landed, right? We landed late. Had to get this super gigantic SUV to fit everybody in it and all our snowboarding gear and stuff like that. And then, driving in a city I'm not used to, going on a super duper long drive. Once we landed, I didn't get good rest on the plane. Man, that first drive sucked. I was having basically the exact same anxiety that I was feeling in those dreams leading up to the trip. And then also like the next day, we had another day full of a lot of driving. Was kind of still dealing with it then, but I drove a whole ton on this trip just in general. So luckily, after those first 2 really long trips of driving, I got over that and then, it was all good there. Also interesting though is like, I noticed my dreams when I was on this trip, I wasn't having these really anxiety-induced filled dreams of driving while I was on it, even though I was going through it in particular, like the first 2 days. And then another thing I dream about a lot is I oftentimes dream about being on trips and going snowboarding. It's like one of my most common dream signs there. And I noticed that when I was on this trip, I only had one night. I did dream about being on trips while I was, while I was on the trip, but I only had one night where I actually recalled dreaming about snowboarding. So I thought that was kind of neat too. Also, I was wondering if I have a dream about skiing because I did also learn how to ski on this trip, which is also pretty neat. I like snowboarding way better, but skiing does have a couple, really awesome pros to it, like such as, when you hop off the lift, you don't gotta sit on your butt and, strap in to go snowboarding. You can just like hop off and get pushing on your ski things and go bombing hills already, which was neat. But I gotta say, personally, I still like snowboarding a lot better, obviously, because I'm a lot better at it. Where I spent one day skiing, and I was going down this run, and I had this pretty steep blue that I could crack on the snowboard. Of course, I'm thinking, maybe I'll try it on the skis. Was not ready for that shit at all, man. Started going down, did a couple of these wide S turns, messed up one, ate it. My skis fall off. I'm sliding down. I had to climb all the way back up to try to get my skis. Luckily, it was steep enough where I could just kind of like grab my skis after I got them, sit on my butt, and just slide all the way down till it got a little bit flatter, and then put the skis back on and bomb the bottom of the hill, which was kind of funny because we were waiting for some people were waiting for me at the bottom, and they're kind of wondering what happens. But then they see me like come bombing down the bottom of this pretty steep blue. They're like, "Oh wow, you did the blue!" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I died at the top, slid on my butt down to the bottom, then put my skis on, and then came out looking like I did it, but I totally did not do it." Nonetheless, it was a really fun trip. And yeah, that'll wrap it up. Kind of a random video there. Once I followed the routine of, doing things where had a really good routine of shooting a lot of videos leading up to the trip and all that. But like, it's been hard for me to get back into shooting again. But nonetheless, this is a nice kind of warm up for that. Have a lot of good things coming up on the channel. I got a couple more videos to go through before we finish up James's book, The New Frontiers of Lucid Dreaming. Got my little mini series on active imagination that will be rolling into right after that. And then hopefully by the time we're done with that, I'll be at least mostly done with the phase book, and I can start making those videos because super cool book. I'm sure I'll probably make a whole ton of videos on that now, actually, now that I'm continuing to get deeper into the book and making 5 billion highlights everywhere. But nonetheless, that will be coming up. And until the next video, keep your sleep practices legit, snowboarding and skiing legit, and your lucid dreaming practice legit.